Welcome to Flexera's Energy Planning 101 workshop. Flexera's workshop series is a group of educational seminars based on various energy independence topics. These seminars are provided both online and in public forums. If there are any community organizers in the audience and would like to have an in-person seminar for a community or group, don't hesitate to contact us to schedule an event. What is certified energy planning? Certified energy planning utilizes both engineering and financial methods to help you choose the right efficiency and alternative energy path. The goal of energy planning activity is to take the control out of the hands of both utility companies and global energy markets. Not only can our nation become energy independent, but individuals can also secure their own energy future. Every homeowner, young and old, rich or poor, should consider how certified energy planning can brighten your future. One of the scariest facets about energy costs is the extraordinary rate of inflation and the fact that it's compounding year after year. The compounding rates are very desirable when they represent interest we are earning in the bank, but not as desirable as a consumer. This chart demonstrates a conservative value for the rate of energy inflation of 10%. The important aspect of this chart is the sloping upward trend as the years progress. The greater the rate of energy inflation, a steeper slope and much higher prices for your next decade. If you want to apply this slope concept to your utility bills, imagine if you were paying $150 a month in 2013. According to the graph, your bill would double to $300 a month in 10 years. I want to focus on a black line on this graph. The black line now represents your energy cost year after year with no actions performed on your part for energy planning. At Flexera, we call this the cost of inaction, and the utility companies love this plan. Your energy future is now in the control of the power companies and the global energy markets, all of our friendly countries fueling the U.S. I want to first tell you that this graph was actually created for a Flexera certified energy plan. The plan was a church located on this peninsula. Let's focus on a black line over the 20-year plan. This represents when Flexera utilized energy planning actions to lower and flatten the curve. It only makes sense if you reduce your energy consumption and make an alternative energy investment today, which means you will generate your own energy. The inflationary price of energy will no longer have a hold on your energy future. Common sense, huh? Remember the first graph I displayed representing a modest 10% annual inflation for energy? By applying the energy planning techniques, the process lowers and flattens your actual bills well into the future. Flexera's certified energy planning process works with each homeowner to determine the most financially beneficial plan for their unique conditions. Remember, after a while there are scientific laws describing diminishing returns for your investment, and it may not have the financial returns to be a zero energy house. This is an interesting graph describing the reality nobody wants to admit. We had taken pieces of data from the U.S. Department of Energy, U.S. Department of Labor, and the Social Security Administration and put it into one convincing chart. The data describes roughly a decade of increases between the years 2000 and 2011. Wow! Electricity increased 262%, which equates to a yearly average of 26%. Oil had an average annual increase of 16.4% for the total of 164% for the decade. Natural gas had more modest gains and only rose 38% for the time period. There was more natural gas produced through the fracking process and not much change in demand. However, our nation's fleet, primarily large tractor trailers and electrical power plants, are converting to natural gas, and my guess is the price will rise at the quicker rate over the next decade. The most troubling aspect of this chart is seen by comparing the percentage rate of increase between the inflation of electricity on the left and the cost of living increases experienced by Americans in the mentioned decade. It has increased 1,000 times faster. Just for fun, Let's take a look at the graph representing the actual increase of electricity over the last 10 years. The compounding effect of an annual 25% increase, closer than that of the 10%, yields a much greater slope. This is why it is imperative for homeowners to perform some sort of energy planning, or their bills will own them in the very near future. Whether you're going to do it alone or rely on certified energy planners, let's take some time to look at the techniques for determining if a project makes financial sense. This example uses value from a solar PV quote, but the theory can be applied and should be applied to any large investment in energy equipment for a homeowner. Currently, there are many state and federal initiatives available for efficiency measures in renewable energy projects. Most contractors will be including these incentives to make their project costs look better. Be careful. There are many rules around these programs, and make sure your company is eligible to provide the service for the incentive, and ask how many particular incentives they have received for their customers. Many companies install the systems and throw the messy paperwork into the lap of the homeowner. If the contractor didn't follow all the rules of the program, the homeowner is out of luck. Pay attention to any state or federal tax credits applied to the reduction of the price. A tax credit offsets a tax liability at the end of the year. If you weren't in a position to pay taxes, it doesn't mean you will get this money back in the form of a rebate. Again, be careful and select the right contractor. Now that we got through the project cost and how to determine the actual price, let's spend a little time looking at the anticipated savings. These figures should be provided by all contractors for an energy project. Without these values, it's impossible to make a sound financial decision, and if they are not provided, find a different energy contractor. The internal rate of return, IRR, can be used as a direct comparison to having the money in the bank or another investment. Make sure the contractor backed out the tax credits if you could not use the credits. If the IRR is less than the value you can receive on a low-risk investment, don't buy the system. If the IRR is better than any interest you can earn, the system is the right investment. The energy usage offset describes how much the energy consumption is reduced for an entire year. The higher the percentage, the lower and flatter the consumer energy price chart, the black line, is controlled and pushed down. The system payback time is simply the number of years where the savings become greater than the cost of the system. The net savings for an energy project should be the savings for the expected life of the piece of equipment or project. If a piece of equipment is rated to last 10 years, don't let the contractor come back and tell you the savings for 25. Are you completely full of great ideas and ready to start your energy plan, or just overwhelmed about the amount of information? Let's move on to the next step. To learn more about certified energy planning, contact FlexEra to take the first step towards your energy independence. I also like to thank everyone for sitting in on our residential energy planning workshop and invite you to find out more online.